Our approach to learning at Coastal Lakes College is underpinned by our belief in success for all students. We do strongly believe that all students that go to our school can achieve success, and that success really can look different for every single child that's here. We have high expectations of our students, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we expect every single child that goes to Coastal Lakes College to actually go to university. What it means is that every child that comes here is actually able to achieve what they wish to achieve. They're able to fulfil their potential, no matter what that potential might actually be. In terms of how we actually make that look across our teaching, we divide our students up into some clear pathways, basically from Year 7. But those pathways, while the students are placed into them, and they're placed into them using the data that we get from their education right back from Year 1, they're placed in there from the conversations that we actually have with our primary school partners, and they're placed in there by us actually looking at who the students are and what their interests are and where they may be looking to go. And while we do place them into pathways, those pathways aren't actually set. We do constantly look and examine where the students are sitting, how they're performing, and we have an academic coordinator that actually continues to monitor every single student's progress across the school, so that if we have placed a student in an area or a student has an interest and wants to actually move from, say, a general pathway to a academic pathway, then they're actually able to do that. So we do have 3 clear pathways at the school. The first of those is our academic pathway, which we refer to as the Achieve program. The Achieve program basically at the moment runs with 2 classes in each year group. Those classes generally do have 32 students in them because we have quite a bit of competition to get into those classes. And those students are doing and engaged in the same curriculum as the rest of the Year 7 cohort, but they are also being extended in that curriculum and in the process skills and context that actually underpin all those. We also have a general pathway where the majority of students would actually enter into classes. Those students, again, are not generally locked into simply engaging in certificate courses or general pathways in Year 11 and 12 because they're in a general pathway. They may still enter into an ATAR pathway or a Year 11 and 12 pathway that actually is looking towards university, but it's about tailoring the curriculum at this point in time to their actual needs and where they're at, and allowing them that opportunity to actually grow and perhaps achieve their full potential. And finally, we have a growth pathway. So this is really for our students that actually need that more help with their literacy, their numeracy, and perhaps, well, certainly in Year 7, is for those students who are coming in from primary school and perhaps just need that little bit of extra care because they may be a bit anxious about the change that high school brings. For those students, we have put in place a one-teacher model, so they see one teacher for their 4 core subjects of English, Science, Maths and Humanities. They spend 16 sessions a week with that teacher, which allows that teacher to really get to know those students. And in that class, while they do both science and humanities, the main focus is around the literacy and the numeracy skills that those students have in the context of those other subjects. Talking around that basically, I've sort of indicated towards how the school week actually looks. So in our students in the general pathway and in the academic pathways, the school week looks like 25 periods. And again, just like in the growth pathway, they just spend 16 of those periods or sessions, with their mesh subjects. So that's the maths, English, science and humanities subjects. For general and academic pathway students, that means that they are moving to a different teacher every 4 sessions for those subjects. They also do health once a week and phys ed twice a week, which some students are excited about and some students aren't. And then they also that basically leaves 6 sessions a week, which we divide up into 3 different lots, which account for their option classes. Now we call them option classes, but really in Year 7 and 8, they're not actually option classes. The students don't get to pick what those subjects are, but we ensure that across Years 7 and 8, most students get a bit of a taster across a semester of visual arts, performing arts, digital technologies, which is your robotics and coding and those sorts of things, food classes, textile classes, wood or metals classes. So they do get quite a breadth of curriculum here. Within those pathways, our hope is that every single child finds that passion that they want to succeed. But out of those pathways as well, we have 2 main focuses for the school. One is technologies, the other at the moment is the arts. So our technologies focus is really driven by a number of different areas. One of which is our work that we're doing with the STEM Innovations Unit in the Education Department, and that's around in making sure that we embed across the entire school the key language and skills of 21st century learning, so problem solving, initiative, creativity, ideas, aspirations, all those sorts of things, basically to try and grow students to be lifelong learners, basically. Coupled with that in our technology and our STEM innovations work is around the skills, the actual hard skills, so doing the robotics, the coding, the building of machinery and different items that actually interface with each other in that way. We're lucky that we do have the state-of-the-art facilities that can actually support that as well, which you'll see when you actually view the tour. Overlaid with that, and in hand with that, is also our arts focus. And we often talk here, rather than about having a STEM focus, and actually having a STEAM focus. So to science, technologies, engineering and maths, we add the A, which is the arts, basically. And we're lucky here that we do have some amazing facilities for the arts across 2 buildings. And we do have some outstanding teachers, which has allowed us to actually, in our first years, have visual arts, music and performing arts all occurring. We have a full IMS program occurring in the school as well, with I think easily 40 odd students engaged within IMS at the moment. Those students do come out and do those classes separate to their usual music class, and we're developing here a strong music program which will support a wider arts program that will exist across the college. And again, that will be intertwined with that STEM focus to ensure that those skills exist in every single student in the college. Final area in terms of our approach to teaching is that we are, as Kaya mentioned, an inclusive school. And for most of our students, that means that we are differentiating or modifying, changing the curriculum every single day to actually meet their needs in their general classrooms, whether that be in the mesh subjects or the arts, technologies, whatever that might be. But for some of our students who may have some moderate to severe physical or intellectual disabilities, it means that we have some facilities here, or a hub of facilities here, which allows us to cater those education support students and every single one of their needs. So in terms of that, we do have a manager of inclusion which looks after those facilities and looks after the program of work that those students do. Every single student that enters into that educational and support facility has a tailored program, a tailored plan around what they're able to do, and we are constantly measuring and reviewing them against that plan. For some of our students, that means that they do spend the majority of their time within that inclusive education hub. For some of those students, they spend part of their day there, and they spend part of their day in general classrooms as well, supported by EAs and the teachers in those classrooms. And we have some of our education support students that are full-time now in mainstream, supported by education assistants and the teachers in there differentiating that curriculum for those students. So it really is whatever the student needs to achieve that success, that's what we do for them. Next, really, and underpinning that, I guess, is our approach to the whole child, which Kai mentioned before. In every single aspect of our curriculum across the school, we really like to look at the relationships that we build with students. We like to think about the social emotional aspects of their growth as well as their academic growth. And for that, we do have a number of programs that run across the school, and one of which, You Can Do It, really talks about the key aspects that students actually need to achieve to their very best. These are the aspects of persistence, etc., that they need to really be lifelong learners, basically, and to really be successful citizens in the community.